then we'll just...
Children who can read anything.
I'm not going to read it.
Okay.
We're just putting it here. It's a presentation. We're not going to read it. So we're just going to present this and then put it to the side, and then anyone who wants to read these offerings. Bring it over here. Yeah, bring it over here so that you can, someone can help and set it up so it stands over there. And then later on, you're welcome to read. Okay. I don't know where the people are. Yes. Would you please present, on behalf of all of us, a card. Srila Prabhupada ki.
As is always the case, many of the guests yesterday asked, who is the gentleman sitting on the dais? How is he not moving?
How is it not moving? He's a yogi in trance.
Never fails. Srila Prabhupada ki. Can I put it here?
Yes. And now I'll ask Tita Guna to present the Vyasa Puja book of the devotees' offerings. The final page has now arrived. We'll just insert it. So, Tita Guna, would you come up and present this, and then we're going to have this book here, so if you can offer this to Srila Prabhupada. Just open it. Go through all of it. Jai Srila Prabhupada. So now this book is going to be here, and so the devotees who have made their different offerings, they can also read from the book. There's a table of contents. We should point out the front piece is a piece of original art by Her Grace Janaki Dasi. And then we have the various offerings. So, you'll all have a chance to come up and take a look. But now we're going to begin. And I will begin with Srila Prabhupada's disciples. And I'd like Hansarupa Prabhu, if you could lead us. Would that be okay? Could you be our first speaker? On behalf of all of us, if you like, your offering is in here, or you can speak
From the Prabhupada tribute book.
Yes.
Where's the mic?
Yeah. That's it? Yeah, that's it. So, you want to sit?
I don't need to sit, I just need a mic. Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasad Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namaste Saraswati Deva Gauravacharai Nirvishesha Srila Prabhupada Mukam Karoti Vachalam Bhagavan Mangate Yakripatam Bhagavad Shri Guru Dev. Dear Srila Prabhupada, please accept my prostrated obeisances in the dust of your lotus feet. Chakshudan Dilode Janme Janme Prabhuse Divya Gyan Viste Prokashita Prema Bhakti Javaite Abhija Vinasajate Vedegaya Jaharachayita. Every day I listen to your heavy words of knowledge and meditate on your instructions while praying for your continued guidance to keep this fallen servant on the path back to home, back to God. By your Vani, I find the strength to remain faithful to serve your divine grace in any capacity that may be required. I find enthusiasm in the memory of your loving exchanges as you chanted Jai Radhamana in the assembly of ecstatic devotees, and then came down from your Vyasa and danced before their lordships, their worshipable lordship, Sri Radha Govinda, in the Henry Street Temple. If some sinful people escape from giving up religious principles, go to far-off countries, then my Senapati Bhakta, military commander, will come at that time to give them Krishna consciousness. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Sri Chaitanya Mandala, Sutsakanda, my Lord Chandas Bible. I am one of those sinful persons who became fortunate by your arrival in such a far-off country. And you are certainly more Senapati Bhakta, as predicted by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself. Therefore, I am eternally indebted to their lordships for this chance to serve one so dear to Mahaprabhu as you. I can never hope to repay that debt in this one short lifetime. My only prayer is that I may take birth again and again, wherever you are, and serve in the shade of your lotus feet perpetually. Chakshudan Dilo Jaya Janme Janme Prabhuse Divya Gyan Vinde Potashita Prema Bhakti Javaiti Abhija Vinasajate Vedegaya Jaharachayita. He opens my darkened eyes and fills my heart with transcendental knowledge. He is my Lord, birth after birth. From him ecstatic prema emanates, by him ignorance is destroyed. The Vedic scriptures sing of his character. Please bless me that I may stay in the association of those great souls who have such implicit faith in Guru and Krishna. They alone continue to faithfully propagate the mission of your divine grace, as you so clearly indicated in your 1958 Vyasa Puja offering, excerpted from your powerful Viraha Astaka poem, which defines your commitment to the mission of your beloved spiritual master, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Goswami Prabhupada. From sea to sea, crossing the earth, penetrating the universal shell, all of us should unite in purpose and flood the land with the inundation of Krishna conscious preaching. One who tries to enjoy the assets of his spiritual master, Guru Bhogi, and one who renounces his Guru's order, Guru Tyagi, are two kinds of useless persons. The one who actually serves his spiritual master, Guru Sevi, will clearly understand all these things. There is only one all-opulent Supreme Lord. Therefore, if one's personal opulence increases, a true saintly person rejects it, knowing it to be the cause of a dangerous position in the material world. Understanding your concerns in this regard, a foolish person knowingly drinks poison if he ignores these admonitions. Your position is not that of an ordinary person, and your instructions are not diminished by the passage of time. You wrote in the dedication of the Srimad Bhagavatam, for which you sacrificed so much to save the world, to Srila Prabhupada Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj, my spiritual master, on the 26th annual ceremony of his disappearance day. He lives forever by his divine instructions, and the follower lives with him. All glory to your divine grace. Om Vishnu Paramanamsa Parivraj Gacharya Astaka Satashishima. Divine grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki.
Thank you, Sri Prabhu. Next, I'd like to ask Darshan Prabhu if he would come and speak. You can stand or sit, however you like. Cell phones off, please.
Cell phone.
Or on silent, as they say.
Namo Krishna Padaya Krishna Kristaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Dinamane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Charani Nirvishesha Srimati Astutyate Sharani. First thing to understand about Srila Prabhupada is that he was a fully self-realized yogi. While appearing to us in the material world, Srila Prabhupada was never part of the material world. I feel confident that no one has ever met anyone like Srila Prabhupada. We describe Srila Prabhupada as farmhouse, which means swan-like manner. The swan has the quality that if you mix water and milk, the swan will drink only the milk. So the transcendental yogi, while traveling within the material world, only accepts the spiritual part of the material world. In 1976, I came back from the Mayapur festival, and after some time in New York, it was agreed that I would join Satsuma Maharaj's traveling party as his personal servant. So I was in New York. Satsuma Maharaj's party came to New York, and Srila Prabhupada was coming in a week or so to attend the New York Radhayatra. So Satsuma Maharaj called a meeting of all the brahmacharis, and he informed us, we're going to travel with Srila Prabhupada to Toronto, we're going to travel with Srila Prabhupada to Detroit, so no need for us to stay here for this Radhayatra. That it would be better service to Srila Prabhupada if we traveled and distributed books. So of course, this caused part of, I can speak I think for every brahmachari there, caused part of our brain to really question if this was the Krishna conscious thing to do. But I can tell you that every single brahmachari did exactly as Satsuma Maharaj instructed. So this may seem surprising in today's ISKCON, but during Srila Prabhupada's presence, the ashram was run on, we could say, military discipline. In order to be a disciple, you had to follow exactly what Prabhupada's authorities that he personally selected instructed you to do. So first we went to Toronto, and Srila Prabhupada came there. At that time he was traveling with Pushta Krishna Swami. I believe he was from South Africa. He was a big preacher and really led a beautiful, sweet kirtan. So the Toronto temple, they just moved into a very large stone church, and it was beautifully run. I believe the GBC there at that time was Jagadish Prabhu. So my service was in the morning. When Srila Prabhupada came back from his morning walk, he would come, we would greet Prabhupada. So the two sannyasis, they were with Prabhupada on the walk. This was Prabhupada's policy at that time, that he would always have traveling with him a pandit, a Sanskritist, to help him with his translation work, and also some leaders from around the world that Prabhupada was personally training in Krishna consciousness. They would have to travel with Srila Prabhupada. So we greeted Prabhupada when he came, and then my service was to walk behind. Prabhupada was in front, then the sannyasis, then me, and we'd walk into the temple room, and then Prabhupada would, there were 3 altars. Prabhupada laid down full dandavats before each altar. We would, with Srila Prabhupada, and Prabhupada would take Jaranamrita, and then it was my service to fan Srila Prabhupada during the class and the kirtan. So the Toronto temple, beautifully run, everything fantastic. Then we went to the Detroit temple. So At the Detroit Temple, that's when things got more interesting. So first, just a little background. Satsu Maharaj at that time was, I can tell you, the most austere sannyasi or brahmachari in ISKCON. We were traveling, he had a mobile home with his personal deities, and he would take rest at 10, get up at 2 a.m. He'd chant all his rounds. Then he would personally worship his deity, bathe, dress, ornate deities, and then give the cross. So the first day we arrived, he went to see Srila Prabhupada, and he came back a little late, maybe 9:30, 10 o'clock, and we could see that he was very unhappy. Something was really disturbing him, and he didn't speak with the party, but he spoke with a couple of the leading men. I think Mahadyuti was there. So after Mahadyuti came out, it was getting pretty late, and we were all curious what happened. So Srila Prabhupada, when he met with, so the situation at Detroit Temple was that they had just purchased the Fisher Mansion. And the long-time president of the Detroit Temple was a householder named Govardhan. And Govardhan was a very lovely devotee. He had built up the whole community, and he was the person behind this big move. They already had a beautiful temple, which I had visited previously, but now they moved into the Fisher Mansion. But just a month or so, maybe before Prabhupada came there, Satsu Maharaj, as the GBC of Detroit, he changed the temple president. A devotee came from Europe named Madhavananda, and he became the temple president. So Srila Prabhupada, when he met with Satsu Maharaj, he said, "Why isn't Govardhan the president?" So Satsu Maharaj said, "Srila Prabhupada, Govardhan came to me and told me that he was having difficulty to chant 16 rounds a day. So because of that, Prabhupada was very unhappy. Prabhupada said, Govardhan must be the president.
Prabhupada said, if you do not recognize this service, who will stay? So Satsu Maharaj was, of course, to be chastised by Srila Prabhupada, that was very, something you would remember the rest of your life. Let's put it that way. Sometimes the devotees, when we had some association with Srila Prabhupada, people ask us, did you speak with Prabhupada? So the truth is we were in fear of making a mistake, in front of Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada said that one should always feel himself to be a fool before his spiritual master. So then the next day we went back, so Srila took me with him, and he went into Srila Prabhupada. I wasn't there for the conversation, but after that, then Satsu Maharaj was very cheered up. Prabhupada told the story of the purchase of the Detroit temple. So when they were looking for a temple, they were looking for something reasonable, common sense, business-like move, something better than what they had. They wanted to buy. And they didn't have much money, of course. In those days, when we collected money, it would very often be nickels and dimes. We would distribute chanting Hare Krishna, reservoir of pleasure. People would give us 25 cents. We would give them one of these pamphlets. So devotee mentioned to Prabhupada that the Fisher Mansion was for sale. Prabhupada said, I want to go there and meet them. So they went there with the realtor, the owner met Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada took a tour of the entire property. Then they sat down. Srila Prabhupada said to the owner, so we are humble brahmacharis and sannyasis. He said, actually we have no money. And we've come here today to ask you to give us this property. So Ambarish later said that the owner, he kept this straight face, but the realtor, he said, almost fell off the chair. The lady realtor didn't believe it. So then some discussion, and then the owner said, we cannot give you this property. So then Srila Prabhupada said, okay, 300,000 cash. So they were asking 350,000. And the owner immediately agreed. So when there's a tape of this conversation, and after Prabhupada gets to this part, then Prabhupada starts laughing. And Prabhupada says, no ordinary man can buy a property like this with no money. So literally the devotees had no money. The devotees who were in the meeting, they were astonished that Prabhupada had just made a deal for $300,000, which no one had. Later, Ambarish Prabhu and our god sister Leka Shravanti Prabhu, they donated the money in order to buy the property. The next day was the installation of morning time. So at that time, devotees were just learning more intricate puja. And the Pandit was traveling with Srila Prabhupada. He had been studying how to do a more elaborate fire sacrifice with all different mantras. What Prabhupada had taught us was very simple. And Prabhupada, he said to Srila Prabhupada before, I want to do this. Prabhupada said, no, you're not ready. But when the fire sacrifice got going, he did anything. And then he started to get lost and confused in the Jagya. So then I was standing Srila Prabhupada along with another brahmachari. Prabhupada called him up. He called him up this close. And he said, you fool, you are dealing with Krishna. Well, no one heard it in the whole place except brahmachari standing Prabhupada. So this was like the other devotee there, Panchatattva, he said to me, he said, that was like having a cannon explode in your face. It was so intense. But then the fire sacrifice was complete. Pushpa Krishna Maharaj started a big kirtan. And as the kirtan reached its peak, Prabhupada got off the Vyasa Sun. And Prabhupada walked up in front of the deities. Prabhupada looked at the deities. Prabhupada looked at all the devotees. And then Prabhupada put his arms in the air and started jumping up and down, dancing in the kirtan. All the devotees. Thank you very much. Hare Jai Srila Prabhupada.
I'd like to ask Tita Guna Dasi, be quiet, to please come up and you want to read your offering from the book. We do have to try to keep our time a little more tight, because there's a number of devotees who'd like to give everyone an opportunity, and it's already 20 to 12, and we have only till 1 o'clock.
Namo Vishnupadaya, Krishna Vastaya Bhutale, Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine, Namaste Saraswati Deve, Gauravani Pracharane, Nivishesha Shanyavai, Ashticharya Sattali. Om Akyanata Namaya Anandava Saladaya, My dear Srila Prabhupada, I offer my most humble and sincere obeisances in the dust of your lotus feet. This is the inconceivably auspicious day of your appearance. Please forgive me for my inadequacies. I need to strengthen my determination to serve you. You have brought real peace to the hearts of untold numbers of persons in this world. You have taught us that service to Krishna and Vaishnavas is where we will find peace. You left peaceful Vrindavan and Mayapur and went to the most hectic and agitated city in the world, New York. I'm in New York now. You created real peace in New York when you came in 1965. In fact, you called New York the fatherland of Krishna consciousness. Every few months, my husband, Pancharatna, and I travel to different countries to preach. We've just come from Japan, where your movement is doing very well, with many coming on Sundays to be part of the Sankirtan movement. We chanted in the streets of Kamakura, where the residents were appreciative of the devotees' enthusiasm to do Sankirtan. You traveled so much to many countries around the world, and you went to temples to preach. Even though you were in an advanced age, you rested only a little, but you would be up in the early hours of the morning translating the most wondrous Srimad Bhagavatam for the benefit of mankind. As of now, the devotees are going out on the modern-day battlefield, the city streets. Since 1966, 581 million books have been distributed worldwide. Jai. These books bring peace and spiritual understanding to the distraught populace. This is all done by your grace. We are so grateful to you for what you have done. You have given a valid solution to this world filled with materialism and void. You are the perfect example of total glorification of Lord Krishna and Lord Chaitanya. Personally, I want to dedicate my whole being to spreading the Sankirtan movement. Your Sankirtan movement will save mankind as the world totters on the brink of ecological and economic chaos. Also, we must fight against Mayavad philosophy. You have shown the whole world that Krishna Kirtan will push back Kali Yuga's invading darkness. Every day the devotees here in the temple in New York go out on Sankirtan, led by the valiant Sankirtan warrior Ram Roy Prabhu, to bless the people of New York with the sounds of the holy name, to help them come closer to Krishna. Also, your incredible books are being distributed here. Please continue to bless us and guide us. I just wanted to say one thing that helped me become a devotee. So I know there's not much time, but I would just like to say this. When I first joined, the temple president there in New Zealand kept on saying, if you have a spiritual desire, it's sure to be fulfilled. And I thought, I'm going to test it. So I thought, I'm going to go for the big spiritual desire. And what's that? This was 1976. And the desire was, I wanted to personally be initiated by Srila Prabhupada. Now, Srila Prabhupada wasn't going to so many countries at that time. And then I moved to Australia, and I thought it's too far away, he's not coming. But then all of a sudden, in April 1976, they said, Srila Prabhupada is coming. And I thought, I'm going to test it. I'm going to see if he will personally initiate me. So we were in the temple room, and at that time, that great soul, Pusta Krishna Maharaj, was his secretary. And he said to Srila Prabhupada, I'll figure out names to give to the devotees. And Prabhupada said, oh, okay. So it was time for me to go up and be initiated. So I went up and paid my dandavats. In those days, the ladies paid dandavats. I paid my dandavats. And then I got up, and Srila Prabhupada said, okay, your name is Anita. And then he said, no, it can't be Anita. Anita means without a path, and we Vaishnavas have a path. So I want to call you Atita Guna. And then I realized at that time, yes, Srila Prabhupada personally initiated me. Thank you very much. Please continue to bless us and guide us, your insignificant service, Atita Guna.
I'd like to ask Bhumipati Prabhu if he could say a few words. Again, I'm sorry to say, sit if you like there. Or you want to stand? Yes. Okay.
Ajnanatimrandasya Gyanajana Salakaya Chakshuru Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manombistam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Gurave Gaura Chandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tad Bhaktaya Namo Namaha Namashrestam Anumapi Sachiputram Ajasarupam Rupam Tashagajam Urupurim Maturim Gostavatim Radha Kundam Girivaram Maho Radhika Madhavasham Prapto Yasha Pratita Kripaya Shri Guruntam Natosmi Trinadapi Sunichena Tarodapi Sahishnuna Amani Namana Dena Kirtaniya Sadahari. First of all, I'd like to offer my respectful obeisances to the lotus feet of my beloved spiritual master, His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, who I was so fortunate that he had given me the Diksha mantras of our Guru Varga. And I'd also like to offer respects to my Shiksha Guru, His Divine Grace, Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj, and offer respects to all Vaishnavas who are, were, or will be in the future. So I was thinking, so many people are speaking about the glories of our Srila Prabhupada, how high Srila Prabhupada is. But Prabhupada is also very deep. So I was thinking of something to say, so I wanted to thought about how Srila Prabhupada, what was Srila Prabhupada's mission? Why did he come here? So in Shastra, there's one verse from Chaitanya Charitamrita, Anarpita Chirim Charat Koronaya Vatirano Kalo, Samarpitun Uno Tojvalara Swabhakti Shriyam, Hari Purato Sundara Juti Kadamba Sandipita, Sadaya Hridaya Kundare Spurito Va Sachinandana. So do we think that Srila Prabhupada came to give something different than Mahaprabhu? Srila Prabhupada is a Gaurapriya Jana. Not just any disciple, but he's the personification of the Karun Shakti coming from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to come to spread the holy name all over the world. This is not ordinary. Srila Prabhupada, same Pati Bhakta, an eternal associate of Sri Sri Radha Krishna. So he is actually mentioned, Prabhupada is, I'm going to read one verse that Prabhupada describes in Chaitanya Charitamrita in the preface, preferably in the third paragraph, where he describes this verse. He also describes it in the introduction of Srimad Bhagavatam. This verse is Arajo Bhagavan Vrajeshas Tanayastad Dhamma Vrindavanam Ramya Kashchirupasana Vraja Vardu Vargena Yakopita Srimad Bhagavatam Pramanam Amalam Prema Pramarto Maham Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Matam Idam Tatrador Na Paraha. So what is this verse? It's explaining that this Krishna, yesterday was the Janmashtami, today is Nandotsava, when Nanda Maharaj celebrated the birth of his son. So Krishna manifests in so many forms, but was Krishna born or did he appear? Swayam Bhagavan, Krishna, who's avatari, the source of all other incarnations, Sarvakarana Karanam, the cause of all causes, he actually takes birth from the womb of Mother Yasoda. And today, Nanda Maharaj celebrated Krishna's birth, the cutting of the umbilical cord. But Krishna appeared in the dungeon of Kamsa in Mathura. Do you understand? He appeared. Who appeared? Krishna's expansion. Lord Narayan appeared before Devaki and Vasudeva. But Nanda Maharaj is the actual, his eternal Abhiman is that he's the father of Krishna. And Swayam Bhagavan, Sri Krishna's Abhiman, is I'm the son of Nanda Maharaj and Mother Yasoda. I'm the friend of the cowherd boys, and I'm the lover of Srimati Radharani and the gopis. This is Swayam Bhagavan. So this verse is explaining that this Krishna, he is our most worshipful object, and just as he's worshipable, so is the land of Vrindavan. The method that he served by the Vrajaramanīs or the gopis, this is the highest form of service. And the Srimad Bhagavatam is the supreme evidence for this. This is the conception of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because that Krishna Prem is the ultimate goal of life. This is the conception of Mahaprabhu, and we're not concerned for any other cheating processes like Dharma, Artha, Kama, and Moksha. So Srila Prabhupada has explained that 4 types of people surrender to Krishna. I think everyone knows those 4 types. Those that are seeking becoming free from suffering, those that are seeking some type of material gain, those that are inquisitive, but those who have knowledge, but it's not complete. So Prabhupada is given this one verse also, Anya Abhilasita Sunyam Jnana Kamarya Navritam Anukulyena Krishna Nushilanam Bhakta Uttama. So we have to understand, first of all, what is Sudha Bhakti? Prabhupada mentions in Nectar Devotion, every service has an attractive feature which drives the servitor progressively on, and the impetus is the pleasure we derive from it. If we didn't get satisfaction from what we're doing, we wouldn't do it. So there's no harm in seeking pleasure, it's how we go about doing it. Because what type of pleasure do we want to have? Someone can answer this. What type of pleasure do we want to have? Eternal, unending, ever increasing. That's the nature of the soul. So Srila Prabhupada has come to give us that opportunity to obtain this. The Krishna consciousness is not for the, there's one saying by one Prabhupada's actual sannyas guru. He said Krishna consciousness is not for the timid, the cowardly, and the weak. So we have to develop spiritual strength. How can we do that? By first of all surrendering fully to the process. The process works. So we have to have a satya or a goal and a sadhana, how to obtain that goal. So Prabhupada has come and given us all the opportunity to understand the science of bhakti. There's one verse, Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila chapter 25, text 265. Krishna consciousness means understanding Krishna Tattva, Bhakti Tattva, Rasa Tattva, Bhava Tattva, Prema Tattva, and Lila Tattva. Shri Shri Radha Govinda Deva Ki Jai. So we should take or avail ourselves of the opportunity to surrender to the lotus feet of the pure Vaishnavas. One other verse, Madhya Lila chapter 22, text 83. Krishna Bhakti Janma Mula Hoya Sadhu Sangha Krishna Bhakti Janma Teno Punamukya Anga. The root cause of bhakti is association of advanced devotees. When one's consciousness becomes awakened, that same type of association is the most essential thing. So I'll end with this one last thing. Srila Prabhupada mentioned in one lecture in Los Angeles August 15th, 1972. In the lecture, he says there's one verse, Krishna Bhakti Rasa Bhavitamati Kriyatam Yadikutopi Labhyate Tatraloliamapi Mulamekalam Janma Koti Sukratirna Labhyate. We can perform pious activities for millions and millions of births. But wherever Krishna Bhakti Ras is available, we have to purchase it without delay. And the price is simply our eagerness to obtain it. So what is Krishna Bhakti Ras and where is it obtainable? That's the love and affection that the eternal associates of Vrindavan have in their heart. In this world, those who follow in the footsteps of the eternal associates, this is called Raganuga Bhakti. This is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to give. This is what Srila Prabhupada came to give. This is what our whole Guru Varga, now and forever, come to give. So we should pray sincerely that we can get the association of such bhaktas that can give us that bhakti. So I'm praying to Srila Prabhupada that some lifetime I can become a Vaishnava. Right now, I'm aspiring, Vaishnava Praya. Even though I've been practicing this for 50 years, but still, I can't say that I'm a Vaishnava. So I'm praying for the dust of the lotus feet of the Vaishnavas and Srila Prabhupada that sometime in the future I can obtain this goal. Vanchakopa Tarubhyas Cha, Kripa Sindhubhyeva Cha, Patitanam Pavanebhyo, Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Srila Prabhupada.
So we'll continue. We just have an hour. And I see in the room at least about 10 or 11 devotees who have, from our community, who have made an offering here in the book. So I'd like to begin with those devotees, and then if we have time. So that means that if people can keep their time to within 3-4 minutes, we should be good. And I'd like to ask Ram Roy Prabhu if you could begin. I also have something, but I'll keep that to the end.
Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namane Namaste Sarasvati Deve Gauravani Pacharane Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paskita Deshatarane. So, as we were just hearing from Bhumipadi Prabhu, Srila Prabhupada is representing what the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the combined form of Radha and Govinda, want to give to everyone in this world and in this entire universe in this very special and paradoxically blessed Kali Yuga. So, Srila Prabhupada has demonstrated his cent% faith in the order of his spiritual master, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, who we understand was sent to this world by the request of his exalted Mahabhagavat father, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, to help him to renovate and to properly distribute with full potency the Sankirtan movement of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So it's understood that Srila Prabhupada was the extension of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's mission, and the great success that Srila Prabhupada has had and is continuing to have. He reasons who say that Vaishnavas die while they are still living in sound. The Vaishnavas die to live. That means they give their whole life. And while living, they spread the holy name around. He gave all credit to his spiritual master. I've not done anything wonderful. I just simply had, if I've done anything, I simply had cent% faith in the words of my spiritual master, and with full heart tried my best to fulfill his desire. So we have that wonderful opportunity to continue as followers of Srila Prabhupada to distribute this greatest benediction, the prime benediction for humanity at large, to everyone. And one of the blessings of getting older, Srila Prabhupada has said in the 4th chapter describing how King Paranjana became taken down by Kala, time, old age, invalidity, says that a devotee's so-called old age, unlike the materialist who becomes very discouraged, is a source of encouragement because he knows that he's approaching eternal life, which ultimately means that, or includes within that, that you come to the stark realization that you can't enjoy in this material world, and that what might in the beginning, when you're younger, yes, there's Krishna consciousness, but there's all this other, there's a whole world out there, but it just comes narrower and narrower and narrower, and the only thing that makes any sense and has any value, has any sanity, is simply the service of the spiritual master. So that is for now and forever. And those of us who are older devotees, been around 45, 50 or more years, we can see how the potency of Srila Prabhupada and the entire Guru Parampara is continuing, and how new people want the truth, want this actual wonderful gift of love of Godhead, want to make sense and sanity out of their lives, and ultimately have that which is really necessary, the nectar for which we were always anxious. So we should all be very, very encouraged, especially on this day, to be very enthusiastic, patient and confident, to keep propagating the mission of Srila Prabhupada and Lord Chaitanya and all the pure devotees, and as far as possible, with our full heart and body, mind, and words, give them the very best that we possibly can offer. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.
Thank you, Ram Roy Prabhu. I'd like to ask Gopal Champu Prabhu if you'd like to. If you want, you have your offering is here. Or you can speak extemporaneously if you like. You want to sit on the cushion there?
Hare Krishna, dear Srila Prabhupada. Please accept my humble obeisances, O glorious to your fearless lotus feet. Nam Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nevishesha Shunyabadi Pashyatade Shatarine. A few days ago, I noticed something very significant on the Vaishnava calendar. The day after the appearance of Lord Balaram was the day that you departed from Calcutta on the Jaladuta, bound for the United States. I began to meditate on the significance of this and thought how Krishna perfectly arranged your life in such a way that was filled with events that carried deep meaning. You have taught us that Balaram is Adi Guru, the original Guru, and you taught us that Bala means strength. This was a Herculean task that you were about to embark on that day, and it required just that, immense spiritual strength. Many times you're credited the success to carrying out your endeavors to strictly adhering to the instructions of your spiritual master, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. The verse and purport you mentioned that helped you remain fixed in those instructions were Bhagavad Gita 241, Vyavasayatmika buddhi ekeha kuru nandana Bahushaka yanantascha bhudayo vyavasayina. Those who are on this path are resolute in purpose, and their aim is one, O beloved child of the Kurus, the intelligence of those who are irresolute is many-branched. Particularly, you mentioned that a section from the commentary of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur left an impression on you. He writes, "My spiritual master's instructions on my sadhana and my life, both in the beginning stages of bhakti as well as in the bhakti's perfectional stage. I desire only to follow his instructions. I accept nothing else as my life's work, even in dreams. Whether I'm happy or distressed, whether the material world remains or is destroyed, I don't care. There is no loss for me. I simply must carry out the orders of my spiritual master." Every day I also try to recite this verse in purport to fix my consciousness on the real purpose of this human form of life. I'm grateful to you, Srila Prabhupada, to be sheltered under your disciple, Vaisheshika Das Arikari, and to therefore be sheltered under you through him. New York has been assigned as my Prabhu Datta Desh. You started the Krishna consciousness movement here and always mention how dear the spreading of Krishna consciousness in New York is to you. Despite the fact that I feel utterly disqualified to affect the hearts of New Yorkers, to make them into devotees and to engage them in your mission, still I'm constantly praying for the empowerment to do so. On this day of your Vyasa Puja, I sincerely pray that you shower your grace upon me and on this project, that you please give us the intelligence to work together to overcome whatever shortcomings we may have individually and collectively to spread your mission here in New York, particularly through the holy names, book distribution, prasadam distribution, and any other means to convince people to take up the process of Krishna consciousness. Thank you, Srila Prabhupada, your insignificant servant, Gopal Champu Das.
If you like, your offering is here in the book, or you can speak. You have it too? Okay.
Dear Srila Prabhupada, Krishna's love is eternal, you happily told. It's stronger than Maya's allure. Just little faith and patience is needed, and the rest is divinely assured. It's so simple, you extolled. Just chant, dance, and be happy. Connect your life and all to Krishna, otherwise you'll remain unhappy. In the Gita, Krishna says, "Surrender unto him and do not worry." This is true for all souls like me. You taught that this is not theory. Daily chant Hare Krishna mantra and follow the four regulative principles. These are not impositions, you said, but true nourishment for the soul. Serve Krishna's devotees faithfully and hear from them with zeal. Give your time and your energy to spread Lord Chaitanya's appeal. Hear from Srimad Bhagavatam. Worship Krishna's form, chant his name, visit sacred lands near and far, associate with the truly sane. Krishna is always with us. He is our real best friend. You, Srila Prabhupada, never cease to remind us his mercy never ends. In this life's journey, we must come together to push your master's mission under your loving shelter. Shunning personal ambition, this lowly servant aspires to serve, love, and cheer Krishna, your most cherished desire. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much. Sita Ram, Prabhu, would you like to read your offering? Yes? Okay, let me get it.
Pancha Kalpatarubhishya Kripa Sindhubhyavicha Patitanam Pavinebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pasta Bhutale Srimad Bhaktivedanta Swami Dinamine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyata Deshatarini. I must say I'm very fortunate to stand here today in New York City and read this offering to Srila Prabhupada. Dear Srila Prabhupada, on this auspicious day of your appearance, I would like to say how fortunate I am to be given an opportunity to be part of your transcendental family. Thank you for the opportunity to be one of the dust particles that are used in one of the building blocks of this great house that you are personally building to give an equal opportunity for every living entity to live in. I take this opportunity on this auspicious occasion to offer myself millions and millions of times in the great service of your mission. Today, I would also like to say what you have given to this world is incomparable in all dimensions. Your books you have given with all the Vedic conclusions are so clear that anyone, even the layman, Christians, Hindus, Muslims, anyone from any caste, creed, or race can understand your great mission. Your great purpose invested in you by the great parampara that you represent, Gauravani Pacharini, that you are representing Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in preaching his mission. Thank you for saving the world with your books and your living examples. These examples are the highest conclusions of the scriptures. You are the living Bhagavad. You are the living Bhagavad. Your examples are so important that anyone who comes in contact with them simply wants to follow them and make them their guiding light in their life. If there wasn't or weren't your examples of great sacrifice, there would not be any tangible reason to live by. This movement would not be what it is today. The movement is only going on because of your examples you set. Yad yad acharati shreshtas tat tat ibitaro jan Srila Prabhupada. Thank you all very much. Hare Krishna. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasad Guru Srimad Bhaktivedanta Swami Swami Saraswati Gauravan Puchara Devi Shishma Pasata Dishita Hare Krishna.
All the offerings, many of the offerings you've heard are all in this beautiful book, and this will be here in the temple room for some time so that people can see that. I'd like to ask him to be our guru to read his offerings on behalf of himself and to grace Srila Mani. It starts here.
Hare Krishna. Little louder. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So I wrote little poems or what for a bhajan prayer for Srila Prabhupada. If you can cooperate me, Jai 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 Gurudev, that's it. Like he was speaking only Jai Gurudev, I say 3 times Jai 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 Gurudev. Okay, everybody? Jai 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 Gurudev. Swadeshundanyaya Videshumanyaya Padarindaya Anupamaya Jitendriyaya Sudhikruchaya Bhaushishyaya like Swadesh Danya Videsh Manya. What it means that his own country or country of birth was very proud of him, as are all the rest of the foreign countries of the world. Swadesh Danya Videsh Manya. Just like it was accepted in India, it was also accepted elsewhere. He is worth giving shelter of because he is an exceptional teacher in every respect. Since all his senses are under his control, he is forgiving to all his millions of disciples and has fulfilled his mission of preaching Krishna consciousness through his service and devotion. He is inconceivable and his strength is immeasurable. By means of soft sound or calm, only he was able to wake up the universe, sleeping in a deep state of ignorance. So that was my great Hare. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. So I'm very happy that a number of my godmothers and goddesses, Prabhupada is here. So we're going to continue asking them if they would like to please make a brief offering of homage to Srila Prabhupada. Let's see. I just saw Satyaraj. Anyway, Prabhupada, you're here. Would you like to be next? Thank you. And we're trying to keep within 3 minutes or so if we can. Thank you. Would you like a seat?
No, I'll stand. Om Jnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurumilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Krishna Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namaste Saraswati Bhagavani Dear Srila Prabhupada, happy Vyasa Puja. All glories to your lotus feet, and all glories to the most unfathomable sacrifices you undertook single-handedly after hearing from your spiritual master of the great urgency of spiritual life in this world. As a first-class disciple of your spiritual master, you immediately began to prepare for the great mission that was entrusted to you by your teacher. You took those instructions as your life and soul, and began to make plans using all your intellect to fulfill them. Dear Srila Prabhupada, you have displayed all the qualities of the best disciple, and you are celebrated as such even today and for a very long time to come. Dear Gurudev, please bless me that I may be able to follow in your footsteps without deviation and distractions. Thank you, Srila Prabhupada, for leaving manual with all directions for boarding this path, and also by your own example. Dear Srila Prabhupada, this scientific process of devotional service is so complex and confidential. Still, you were able to present it to the simple-minded persons like me. And you are such a genius that I do not have the eloquence of speech to describe your glories. But I still attempt to do so with my limited capabilities. Please accept this humble gift. You remind me of the way Narmani converts 10,000 sons of Daksha to dedicate their lives to the personality of Godhead. And then later goes back and again confers 1,000 sons of Daksha to become dedicated devotees of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and to be able to go back to Godhead in that very lifetime. It is no wonder that one day, during Gaur Arti in 340 West 55th Street, that the devotees saw you laughing jubilantly. And later when you were asked, Srila Prabhupada, why were you laughing so much? Your response was, did you see? It was Narmani. He was scared. Following in the footsteps of Sri Narmani, your preaching work is so extensive and proliferate that you are able to reach all across this planet. Thanks to all the continued efforts of your disciples and current disciples. All glories to you, dear Lord Prabhupada. Please continue to shower your mercy on this fallen soul.
So let us offer respects to Srila Prabhupada. This is a very, very auspicious day. Last evening we had Janmashtami. All over here today we have Prabhupada Vyasa Puja. We're so connected. Prabhupada said that by the grace of Krishna, one gets the spiritual master. And by the grace of the spiritual master, one gets Krishna. You can't get Krishna without the grace of the spiritual master. It's just that simple. In life, sometimes we feel that we don't need any help. We can do it alone. And we can get all the knowledge ourselves. And so, when we come to Krishna consciousness, we have to see that this is not acceptable. Because it's not something concocted by an individual. It's something that's there, given by Brahma in the very beginning of creation. And this is the important thing, that we are conditioned souls. We can become purified by the process of devotional service. And then we can regain and become established in the spiritual world with a body that's called Satchidananda Viva. So this is the teaching. It's not just Srila Prabhupada's teaching. It's the teaching of Krishna, Srila Vyasa, Narada Muni, all of these great authorities. So this is the important thing. What Prabhupada has done for us is the process of Krishna consciousness, how to become purified. From what? From feeling that we belong to this body, we belong to these people, the body concept of life, which has separated everybody in the world. Prabhupada described it as a whole fund of knowledge. And the body actually tricks the person to think that I am you. And therefore, the process of self-gratification will make me satisfied. But the process of self-gratification doesn't make anybody satisfied. The only thing that will satisfy the soul, that is Krishna realization, a platform of transcendental ecstasy. Transcendental ecstasy, you can't get it cheaply. You spend a few years with Krishna, you make a little surrender, and you will get a transcendental ecstasy. No. You have to make a full surrender,
them to become realized, that's what you have to do. There's no alternative. So that's why Srila Prabhupada has prepared his temple so nicely, so we can train devotees in how to develop, what is that? Love of God. This is what Lord Chaitanya is giving, love of God. Because that's the highest ecstasy. When you get that ecstasy, then your material problems are solved. But you cannot get the ecstasy cheaply, to cheat Krishna, to get the ecstasy. You have to make a surrender. And surrender is not going to come overnight, you know. Krishna consciousness is a lifelong process. Not something you go to school for 4 years, you go to the college for 4 years. It's not like that at all. So the best thing we can do is offer our ears, Prabhupada called that Shravana, to the spiritual master and to the advanced Vaishnava devotees and to the devotees of the Lord, and form that association. Do not think you can become advanced without love for devotees, because that's the requirement to enter into Vaikuntha. So this is what Prabhupada has left, not just the deity worship, but the training. The devotees that can live in the temple and get trained. You should not think you can become Krishna conscious without the training. Not possible. So you have to think about it, or else what is the alternative? You have to take another birth. And taking another birth, Prabhupada said, is very risky. So this is what I just want to say, that this is what Prabhupada has left for us, devotee association, and the process of devotional service. We should take it very seriously, and then continue making the advancement, develop good qualities, humility, love for devotees, understanding, intellectual understanding. We cannot just become advanced without understanding the literature. So there's 60 volumes of Srimad Bhagavatam. We have to study that. And that's why Prabhupada labored day and night to get these purports, purports. Prabhupada said the purport are his ecstasies. So enjoy Prabhupada's ecstasies in the purport, and you will come to the point of self-realization, and you can contribute to the mission of Srila Prabhupada and Bhaktisiddhanta and Bhaktivinoda Thakur to help give relief to the suffering of humanity. All glory to Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna. I'd like to ask Srila Prabhupada if he could go to the chair over here. The speakers are a little bit more visible in the audience. They should be here as well.
And we'll give you a chair.
Hare Krishna. Before I read my little offering to Prabhupada, I just want to mention a few devotees that came to the West Indies in the early 70s and did the planting of the seed of Krishna consciousness. And Srila Prabhupada sent them to the Caribbean, to the West Indies, Guyana, Trinidad, to plant the seed. Later on, we had other devotees like Chisvananda, Sridhara Maharaj. They came and have watered the seed. So many devotees can come from that area. Now there are thousands of devotees from Guyana, Trinidad. I have some little thing I'm going to read here. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Dukani Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Chanamini Namaste Saraswati Devi Guruvani Pacharan Devashesha Sunivadi Vashasya Desataran. respectful obeisance unto His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, who is very dear to Lord Krishna, understood having taken shelter at His lotus feet. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pachari Nirvashesha Sunivari Pachasyadi Sitarini. Our respectful obeisances are unto you, O spiritual master, servant of Saraswati Goswami. You are kindly preaching the message of Lord Chaitanya Deva and delivering the Western countries, which are filled with impersonalism and voidism. My dear spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada, for as long as time I have dwelled in the muck of the material world, and when for a moment I had a glimpse of your divine mercy, you gave me the intelligence by which I could surrender. How foolish I have been until you illuminated my vision, my thought, and gave me real knowledge of the way of your teachings, examples, literature, books, and by the many faithful servants around the world. My most humble obeisances unto you, your faithful servant, and the entire Parampara. You have created a path that despite whatever hardship, natural disaster, negative planetary influence may arise, Lord Chaitanya's mercy will prevail in its purest form. For there will always be some books and some devotees survive wherever on the planet. Except you could have such foretelling vision. Your divine grace, who has anointed my undeserving eyes with the salve of devotion. I offer my entire life, family, wealth, as your own. Within the Gaudiya Vaishnava branch, your ISKCON holds the greatest, widest, and strongest limbs. For our transcendental family are 1 million strong and growing by your grace and supervision. It is your pure vibration of the holy names, your recorded media, your divine purport, and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's divine plan, that you, my dear Srila Prabhupada, be the deliverer of the most ignorant souls of this planet. Yeah. My gratitude knows no limit, and I am forever lovingly indebted to you. By your appearance, you have made my good fortune. For every temple, preaching center is an oasis, rejuvenating and enlightening my strength to present your message. Every round of japa is the only way to transcend the transcendental layer, the unlimited layers of universes and enter into the spiritual sky. Every page read and every instruction descends from you nourishes my faith. Every devotee made is part of our family. Today I most humbly offer my gratitude with some meager words and a garland, and my love. But my love and indebtedness know no bound. I am most obliged and offer myself at your lotus feet, lifetime after lifetime. I humbly beg to remain showered by your grace, Srila Prabhupada.
Thank you, Sarottam. Memories of 340 West 55th Street. Another of our West 55th Street crew, Bindu Mahaprabhu, is here. I'd like to share a few words.
Hare Krishna. I wasn't planning on speaking, but 3 Brahmins asked me to speak, so I will say a couple of words. I usually avoid speaking so people don't know how foolish I am. And I wasn't prepared to speak, but Prabhupada has given us everything that's important in life. He's showed us what life is, that we're eternal spirit soul, we're not this body. And he's given us so many wonderful things. Beautiful Radha Govinda, since I've been seeing since they got here in 1972. Just like I've been asked to speak, and I kind of hesitate, but Prabhupada's dragged me into this, I believe the term is agata sukriti, causeless mercy, because I have no good qualities, and any good qualities that I have are from Srila Prabhupada. I can't tell you how grateful I am. Generally, I'm not very grateful, and I still don't have any love in my heart. But I have to thank Prabhupada for this beautiful lifestyle, for the wonderful association of all you wonderful devotees, and for the fabulous prasadam that we've had, the beautiful fragrances, and everything else that comes along with being in ISKCON. Prabhupada is ISKCON, and we have to remain diligent to serve ISKCON. Prabhupada said ISKCON is his body. So please help me remember what my duties are and what my role in life is, and help me on this path. Thank you, Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Bindu Madhava. So, Satyavrat Prabhu asked me if I would read his offering, so I'll do that. Lovely. Obeisances galore from my heart as always, all glories to divine grace. Today on your appearance day, I want to express an unusual idea that has kept cropping up for me for all the years. An idea that speaks to your special glory as a unique acharya, showing how yet again you transcend both ordinary and extraordinary standards, expectations, and ways of being. My one idea begins with a modern expression, quote, never meet your heroes. Unquote. That is to say, in general, it is unwise to seek out personal association with those we respect or admire, for they inevitably fail to meet our expectations, resulting in disappointment. Indeed, it is not uncommon that we put our teachers and superiors on such a high pedestal that meeting them could only result in revealing their weaknesses and imperfections. Our assumptions about their character and qualities are usually unrealistic and high. That was never the case with you, Srila Prabhupada. You never let anyone down. Most of the people you encounter deeply appreciated your numerous assets, both material and spiritual, from your practical, worldly wisdom and pragmatic know-how, to be said with profound devotion, scriptural knowledge, and spiritual realization. What is particularly amazing to me, however, and this is the specific true thought, is to see to know
mistakes, I can only cite this purport in the first canto of Srila Prabhupada 324, where he comments that Srila Prabhupada both is without any trace of mistake, illusion, cheating, and imperfection, which are the four flaws of all conditioned souls. Liberated souls are above these flaws. Srila Prabhupada is a liberated soul. Nearly a decade of very close observation. Whenever I thought Srila Prabhupada was making a mistake, it always turned out to be just the right thing. Perfect in every way. So I must contend that Prabhupada was the quintessential perfect person, beyond error. This is my informed, eternal opinion. And a quote from Shastra. His point was well taken. In other words, the imperfect souls, we don't see the entire picture. As imperfect souls, we don't see the entire picture. And so even when your divine grace appeared to be mistaken, your so-called mistake was just what was needed for Krishna's plan to unfold as it should. That is to say, there is more to life than overt, quote, right and wrong. And who is to say what is ultimately right when it comes to Krishna's plan? Srila Prabhupada, you alone, as Krishna's pure representative, are privy to that plan. And this is the very definition of what it means to be right. That fact is now clear to me through the grace of your disciple, Sundar, who would know better than someone like him who had physical proximity. Your perfection speaks to the subtlety of the Guru being, quote, as good as God. It does not mean that he is God, of course, but that he is God's representative, and thus he and he alone unveils Krishna's plan in the world before us. Indeed, the scriptures say, quote, one should know the Acharya as Krishna's very self, Srila Prabhupada, 1727. The word used is vijnaniyat. One should know them to be the same, which is slightly different than saying that they are the same. It is basically saying that they should be seen as one, even while being aware that they are different as well. It's a matter of perception, not ontological oneness. As Srila Vishwanath Thakur reminds us, quote, the spiritual master is honored as much as the Supreme Lord because he is the most confidential servitor of the Lord. This is acknowledged in all of the scriptures and is followed by all authorities. Their honor is the same, but that very act of honoring indicates that there is distinction too. And you have highlighted this point. But that does not mean Guru is Krishna. Now that, if you accept, you honor spiritual master as well as Krishna, because he's representative, but not that Mayavad philosophy that Guru and Krishna is the same. From a lecture on Bhagavad Gita in 1974. But I veer away from my main point. It seems that the people closest to you, go closest, and that they serve in proximity to your physical form, are the ones who see your perfection more clearly than anyone else. This speaks volumes about your singular qualification as the perfect Guru. Again, in the material world, we are taught to never meet our heroes, lest we open ourselves to terrible disappointment. In a sense, you turn the entire Bhakti ideology on its head, while physical presence, Bahu is usually de-emphasized in Gaudiya thought. In your case, that simply did not apply. As your immediate followers knew, your form brought with it a certain enhanced spirituality. That was so even if ultimately your association will be highly, fully nurtured and understood by your spiritual instruction or bond. To be sure, the mass of devotees mainly know you through those who surrounded you while you were physically present. Yet their vision never seems as developed as that of those early devotees. There are exceptions, of course, since Bhakti is a spiritual phenomenon, but in my experience, the above seems to hold true. With the earliest devotees having what some might perceive as an exaggerated view of your transcendence. Why is this? Is it because they imbibe something special in your physical presence? Was your physical form like a spiritual touchstone, imbuing all who came near with spiritual wisdom and insight? Like the devil's advocate, one might think that being more removed from your physical form Latter-day devotees will see you in more divine light. To be sure, this was the case with the followers of Jesus. When he was on the planet, he was considered the Messiah, the King of the Jews, and only later was he deified or seen as God himself. Later deification seems natural, because his immediate followers interacted with his physical form, while later generations pushed him into the cloud, so to speak, perceiving him as a full divinity for the first time. With you, Srila Prabhupada, was different. Your immediate followers, it is well known, practically deified you, sometimes admittedly taking it too far, as when dear Dr. Ramananda and his three associate sannyasis were temporarily asked to leave the movement. You would not tolerate your disciples confusing the spiritual master with God in any absolute sense. No, you demanded personality, where they understood the ways in which you were one with God and the way in which you weren't. My bottom line and recurring thought then was as follows. The people who served your physical form were able to have such a developed understanding of who you are, while the apparent mundanities of that form blocking or interrupting the spiritual perception, then something special was going on there, fully affirming your unique transcendence and otherworldly identity. Let me conclude with this. One of the oldest accounts of the phrase, quote, never meet your heroes, is from Madame Bovary, the novel by French writer Gustave Flaubert. The original French quote is rendered like this. Il ne faut pas toucher aux lions. Le déroule reste au monde, which roughly translates as, don't touch your pearls, a little gold always rubs on. The obvious meaning here is that the gold of most heroes is false, falling away at the slightest provocation. Well, with you, Srila Prabhupada, gold may rub off as well, but for all who have the eyes to see, it is the gold of Lord Chaitanya, the golden avatar. Your servants of Hare Krishna. So, I wanted him to read it. Unfortunately, we are running out of time, and since I have a very short offering, I'll just do that. And then I think we'll be in time for doing our offering of Pushpanjali. This is the tradition of our Vyasa Puja. Namo Vishnu Krishna Prasaya Gurule Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Tinami Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Prachari Nirvisesha Sundari Bhakti Shadari Om Adinata Navasa Yanantana Shalakaya Chatur Viditam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Each day in your service brings me steadily closer to the divine world you reveal, though to me it's just a glimmer. Still, its power is so great, I remain captured by its promise. I simply follow in your footsteps, I'll break free of all darkness and enter the light that dispels all ignorance and reveals who I truly am, replacing my illusion with substance. I don't deserve this great gift, rather quite the opposite. Forever wandering in samsara, I serve the cruel despot of my covetous heart that bears only selfish desire, keeps me in chains that burn like wildfire, till the rain of your mercy, born of pure compassion, rained down on my forlorn life and broke my cycle of destruction. The flow of your grace has reversed my direction, my apologies to all the devotees here who didn't get an opportunity to read their offerings. But the book is here, and although you may not have us to read to, Srila Prabhupada is here. You can recite your offering before him. I think that would find that very satisfying. And I invite all the devotees who are present to please also glance through the many wonderful, wonderful offerings here from both the residents and other members of our community. And I do want to encourage that those of you who were not able to make an offering this year, please do try to do so next year. And if you can, do it a little more in advance than the day before. Try to do that. Hare Krishna. And I want to especially thank my dear wife, Tikaduna, who has done all the, and she was assisted by one other devotee, Shakti, who helped to create the pages here and make it into a beautiful offering. Hare Krishna, Jai Srila Prabhupada. Now we're going to do the Pushpanjali.
Our Nam Sankirtan is going to take place today after the feast. We're going to go to Union Square Park between 4 and 7 o'clock. Anyone who wishes